What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's the 429ster. And thank you so much. We had so many views. It was crazy. And since we had so many views, I thought, what a better way than to come out with another banger of a video. So that's what we're going to do here today. So today, if you haven't seen last video, please go watch it. It's called the 429ster version of the Bible. Now, it's not changing the Bible. It's just my way of reading it because I believe that there's fun to be had in learning history. That's what we're all about here today. So today is going to be part 2. So we're going to kind of start where we left off last time. And, which if you haven't seen that one, go back and watch it. You will have so much. You need to see history in order. It makes a lot more sense that way. So we start off, and after the ark and the floods and Noah, a few generations down, there's a man named Abraham. Abraham is a big name. He's a big name. He's a superstar. And he is doing well and all this, and his wife Sarah, and Abraham is given a promise by God. And God is like, look at the stars. Now, we definitely can't see stars in daylight, and it's kind of hard nowadays at nighttime because there's so many street lights. But if you go out into like the wilderness or something, and you look up, there's a ton of stars. Tons, more than I can count. And he's like, that's how many offspring you'll have. Now, hopefully he won't be having all those children. That's a lot. But that's how many offspring. So he and Sarah are getting old. Now, I'm not saying the 930 Adam old or the 600 Noah old. I'm saying old to have children because it's just them two. They don't have a child. And how are you going to have offspring without children? So they're both about 100 years old. And I sure don't want my parents having children at 100. I don't know. That's my preference. But yeah, they were like, there's no way, God. So they're like, maybe God made a mistake. Yeah, I don't see that as happening. But it was their point of view. So Sarah's like, I can't have a child. I'm almost 100. So she goes and gets her younger servant. And she's like, Abraham, I need you to have a child so we can have all these offspring through her. And he's like, okay. So, and the servant's name was Hagar. So they have the child, and it's named Ishmael. And then God's like, whoa, I don't remember telling you, Abraham, to go have a child with Hagar. I remember telling you to have it with your wife, Sarah. So he's like, well, Sarah's a bit old. And he's like, are you serious? Old? He's like, she's only 100. I don't know. I don't know what was considered old back then. But so soon after, Sarah's having a son, and his name is Isaac. So, as God had promised, their offspring, there will be a great nation from offspring. So, he can't, even though it was an accidental, he's not going to break his promise. He's going to have a great nation go under Ishmael, and a great nation go under Isaac. Now, that's interesting because if you didn't know that, this is okay, but I'm just going to tell you. Back then, the inheritance, nowadays, if there's a will or the inheritance, whoever's writing it is going to split up how they want it. They can give it 50-50 between two people. They can split it up however they want it. But back then, the inheritance of a father, because the father was the one who kind of owned things back then. The father's inheritance would go to the oldest son. The oldest son would be the firstborn. So the firstborn was Ishmael. But Ishmael was what I would call the accidental. And so that's how it traditionally worked. But God said that Abraham's inheritance needed to go through Isaac. So no, they're not going to pull a Cain and Abel and kill Ishmael, but they got to figure out something. So I don't know if y'all know this, but Ishmael's descendant eventually was Muhammad. Now, if you don't know who Muhammad is one of the founders of the Islamic faith. So, Islamic faith's Islam has the same roots as the Bible until Abraham, and it splits off, it goes Ishmael's direction. Now, Isaac would eventually, his descendants, one of them would be Jesus. And it would be like the Christian faith. So, both Christianity and Islam are together until after Abraham they split. So, then you're like, well, what happens? Who cares? What? Well, that is why. So, it's kind of Abraham's fault that there are two religions fighting still. It's more predominant in the Middle East, but over there around Israel and Syria and the Islamic faith believes, since Ishmael was the firstborn, that they were supposed to inherit the greatness of Abraham, which it makes sense to them. And in the Christian faith, since Isaac was the one who God was, blessing and giving the inheritance to, the Christian faith believed that they're the ones who deserve the inheritance. This is something that's been going on for so long. I mean, I wasn't even born. Craziness. There was history before me. So they're still fighting out because of one decision. The decision to not follow God and have a child with the servant instead of his wife. That goes to show that something that you do, that something that happens when you sin nowadays. Now, I'm not saying this about everything, but if you were to sin, it is possible that could affect the rest of history. I don't know if you've ever thought about that. But this one sin, just like Adam and Eve from the previous video, they just had one sin. They ate of the fruit off the tree of knowledge and evil. And what did that do? That made it to where everything was perfect. Now everything's not perfect. So how are we going to get to heaven? Well, back in this time, you needed a sacrifice. But that made it to where we needed Jesus, which is, that's thousands of years in our past, but in their future. But, yeah, so that is how things happen. I mean, it's crazy because the Bible and all these books are so historic, and it makes sense for today. But yeah, that is it for today. I really hope y'all liked part 2. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for watching this. And if you haven't, I've forgotten to say this, but turn on notifications so whenever I post another banger of a video like this one, you get to watch it first. You want to be the first viewer. It's crazy how that works. But yeah, 429ster out.